writers make these iconic characters, yet you bring them to life. I want you to tell me something that you guys gave your characters, something that you gave the Alfred we see in the series, something that you gave the Tommy Wayne we see in the series.
I think...
My moustache.
Yeah, you gave him the tan. I gave him the sex appeal. I don't know. I mean, all of it really. One of the fun things about creating something, creating a world that nobody's seen before, is that you really can start from scratch, and you could, the attention to detail has to be there, but you can play around with it. And I think, you know, it was great fun with Danny Cannon, the lead director, Bruno Heller, the showrunner, and the production designer Mark Scruton. They all sort of, we were brought in on conversations like, you know, what tie should he wear and kind of what colour the doorknob should be and stuff like that. So it was great, that kind of attention to detail. In terms of what I brought to it, I mean, the physicality, I suppose, the voice, which is a nod to Michael Caine, but there's certain things you can do as an actor, and then a lot of the rest of it is kind of done for you by other departments, I suppose.
Ben?
I think you can't help ending up a character. You merge into a character, and a character kind of merges into you. So I don't think you're always aware of necessarily what you're bringing to it. You can have your like aims and focuses, and you can decide on your choices. But ultimately, I don't know. The character is quite different to me. I like to think he's quite different to me anyway. So it was kind of nice to transform into something different. But yeah, I'd just say the moustache is the main attribute.
Moustache, perfect. Okay, now you said something interesting. You merge into characters.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask the opposite thing. Like, what are you bringing home with you from Alfred? What did they teach you? Like,
well, you couldn't tell the difference between Jack and Alfred.
Same man.
We were about 3 episodes in, and you were like, "Oh, I don't know when. I don't know who's who. I'm not quite sure."
Can you tell now? I'm not liking it.
I don't know.
Nah. It's got, the thing is, when you play someone all day, every day for 6 months, you really start to cross over. So I'd go home and people would be like, "Why are you talking?" You know, friends that you meet in the pub would be like, "Why are you talking like that or walking like that? It's weird." But I certainly took home his, you know, his sort of honesty and his morality and those kind of things. I think we could all have a little bit more of.
Now we've seen very few of this 60-ish time frame within the comics. Now, what sources did you use to prepare for your characters? What were your like guidebooks to get into the skin of these characters?
Well, I think that period is an incredible period for something to be set in, because it was so rich culturally with pop, music, fashion. It was like one of the coolest periods that London's ever known. So there was a lot that we could key into, and there's a lot that actually exists within the series. But I think we were both given, well, I was given an actor, Cary Grant, who's a 1950s movie star, to kind of look at for inspiration, because they wanted him to feel like a movie star of that era. So I was watching kind of like Hitchcock films and other Cary Grant films, and trying to focus in on, they had a very particular way of speaking, film stars of that era, and they had quite a specific physicality as well. So I think it was similar for you with Michael Caine, right?
Yeah, I think Danny and Bruno, you know, were pretty clear from the outset that if there were any, we were going to give a nod towards any of the previous Alfreds, it'd be Michael Caine. And luckily, he was sort of the archetypal film star of the '60s in Britain, so there was lots of popular culture references that we could look at rather than comics, which was great because I got away with reading thousands of comics.
Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great questions. Thanks, man.